Hello everyone, this is Norris once again. Philippine officials try to assure Filipino travelers will be 95% unaffected by the revised immigration guidelines against human trafficking. So let's listen to this so-called misunderstanding when everyone, especially Senator Marcos and Hontiveros, gave their comments against the previous immigration departure policies. So please listen to this good news.
Guideline for Filipinos departing the country is facing criticisms ahead of its implementation on September 3rd. Aside from the long list of requirements, some travelers are questioning why certain documents will have to be presented, such as the original birth certificate for minors, even if they are traveling with their parents. Proof of financial capacity, even if this has been submitted to the embassies during visa applications. And if the travel is sponsored, the affidavit of support, which should be either notarized or authenticated before a Philippine embassy or consulate abroad.
Napapahirapan yung ating mga kababayan na gusto lang namang lumabas ng bansa.
The new requirement has prompted some travelers like Essie, who hasn't left the country in 9 years, to think twice if she'll push through with her planned vacation.
Para siyang exit visa. Tapos, yung bansa ko, bigla lang ako, bakit nila ako pinipigilan na makalabas?
Even lawmakers are raising possible violations of the constitutional right to travel.
Sobrang bigat ng mga hinihingi na i-infringe yung ating constitutional right para bumiyahe yung right natin to freely move and travel.
Senator Amy Marcos says the Constitution doesn't require financial capacity to travel, and neither should the Interagency Council Against Trafficking or IACAT. Senator Risa Hontiveros, author of the expanded Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act, calls on the Bureau of Immigration to impose the same strict standards both for those leaving and entering the country. The Department of Justice and IACAT explain they are not enforcing stricter measures because there are no new requirements being imposed. Instead, they said they released the guidelines for the sake of transparency to inform passengers which documents will be inspected once they reach immigration counters. The DOJ said most of those traveling will only need to show basic requirements like passport, boarding pass, visa, and a confirmed return ticket.
95% niyan, walang problema. Yung 5% lang na maaaring ma-profile na dahil first-time traveler or suspicious circumstances which lead them to believe that there's a red flag. Kailangan i-clarify ang status.
Remulla added seasoned travelers shouldn't have any problems. Justice Undersecretary Nicolas T. said proof of financial capacity will only be required if the passenger fails the primary route of inspection where the purpose of the travel will be checked based on information from basic documents and the e-travel platform.
That information that goes hand in hand with observations by the immigration officer of the demeanor of the passenger, as well as the answer of the passenger to any questions that are propounded by the immigration officer.
He added proof of financial capacity will only be relevant if the destination countries do not require visas. It appears that most Filipino trafficking victims were rescued from countries like Thailand, Myanmar, and Cambodia, where Filipinos enjoy visa-free entry. Proof of employment and financial capacity are already part of visa application requirements.
Proof of financial capacity, that will only be requested by the immigration officer if there appears to be some red flags on the part of the traveler.
T said the requirement to present birth certificates of minors is also not new and is crucial to ensure that minors are traveling only with their parents amid recent cases of trafficked children. But for Essie, these clarifications from government officials are not indicated in the revised guidelines they released, raising the possibility that immigration officers might have a different interpretation.
Binasa ko yung guidelines and I didn't see that qualification na these apply to first-time travelers. Nakalagay lang doon, if you're traveling, tapos for leisure, you have to present your parang bank statements or what, your financial capacity to travel.
The DOJ on Thursday first attributed the confusion over the revised guidelines to the supposed misleading media reports. But on Friday, DOJ spokesperson Miko Clavano apologized for the miscommunication. He said the 2023 guidelines should have been compared with the 2015 guidelines to show there's no difference in the process and requirements. On the contrary, he said some were in fact streamlined, such as removing the affidavit of support requirement if the traveler is being sponsored by a spouse, parent, or children based overseas. Immigration officers conducting the primary inspection are also now required to explain to travelers why their departure is being deferred or why they will be referred to a secondary inspection. Mike Navalio, ABS-CBN News.